right, what is up, YouTube? How are you doing today? Chana D, your techno dad, in a place to be with my main mans, Michael the Youthman, and
up,
Joe
guys?
from Joe and Tell. What's up?
What's up?
Glad to be here, man.
What is going on?
It's good stuff, man.
What's up with these fancy mics over here?
I
don't know, man.
Chana just picked these up.
Yeah, you know how I like to roll, bro. I see some cool stuff and I just buy that shit. That's kind of how it
Chana's
happens.
got all the fancy stuff. Look at this thing.
Hey. We don't want to mess up the
I
audio.
didn't touch the
I
dials.
can't even see what's happening. All right, it's all good. Anyway,
Yeah.
we are here at Vid Summit 2019. Mike and I attended the event. Joe just flew back in from
snuck
Hawaii.
in.
Yeah.
He literally, we're
Snuck in.
2 minutes from LAX. He flew in from Hawaii and came straight here.
He did, man. He didn't even say hi to his wife or kids or nothing. He just said,
That's
I'm going to
actually-
see my fellas.
I'll play along. Okay.
Yeah, no.
That happened.
He
Nah.
flew in yesterday and today. But anyway, let's not talk about Vid Summit. Let's talk about what we all talk about normally.
Yeah.
It's good seeing you, man.
Yeah, dude.
I see you all the time.
Yeah. This is the first time we've met. So,
Yeah.
Well, it's the first time me and Michael have met too. Well, that was like Tuesday.
Yeah, true.
Tuesday. It is Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a great time together. So,
It's great. So what are we talking about? We talking about speakers, amplifiers, home audio, home theater?
throw
What
it
do you
out there,
wanna
man.
do?
You guys had the plan. I'm just here, just kind of tagging along, just because you're in my city. So I figure I'll come and say what's up. Try to get you some Chick-fil-A, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A is at LAX, is the closest one. I'm not going back to LAX. I picked him up from the airport Tuesday. That was it.
But I'm done, dude.
All right. So I know I had some ideas. Like, let's talk about mistakes people make when they're buying audio equipment.
Okay.
Sure, I'll start. All right. First thing that comes to mind is people have a set budget in mind for a set goal, and usually the budget and the goal do not match.
True.
Right? Like they think, all right, I'm going in for a home theater. I want to spend $600, and they want the best Dolby Atmos 11 channel thing, and it's
Not happening, guys. Not happening.
Not happening.
It just doesn't add up.
Right. So my suggestion would be to do what I've always done, which is piecemeal the whole thing, right? Pick what you want to buy first. And I would usually go with your two main channels first, speaker-wise. And always try to listen to the speakers before you buy.
If you can.
If you can.
Sometimes you can't.
It's tough. I know. I live in the boonies, so I have to order online. And then spend more money on your speakers than you do your AV receiver, because those will upgrade every year, with incrementally, and you can always upgrade to something better.
I like twice as much on the speakers as the amplifier.
So you got
One.
you got
A 2 to 1
formula.
ratio.
Yeah, that's
All
a good
right.
ratio.
Yeah, I like that 2 to
Yeah.
1 ratio.
Is that about where you're at?
Well, unless you're a youth man,
Oh,
Because Youth Man loves to get these things called Youth Man deals, and I didn't come up with that phrase. My audience came up with that.
I say it all the time. Told it to him
And
like 3 days ago.
Yeah, so I'm used to finding like ridiculous deals, like a pair of Clips La Scalas that typically sell for about $1,200 to $1,500 a pair, and I bought 3 of them for $700
Altogether.
What?
altogether, all 3 of them.
That's because you're a
No
nice
way.
guy.
But that happens over and over and over and over and over. So, all right, so even on that, sometimes you can get a lot more in the used market. If you're thinking, man, I want this, but I can only afford this, maybe consider used.
Right.
Just look for quality used gear on
And
Craigslist, Facebook, Marketplace, a lot of different places.
I always recommend new gear, especially people getting into this. But yes, he's 100% right. So what would you say, Michael, are some guidelines for buying used gear? Because it's very hard to kind of advise. I feel it's very hard to advise people on what to look for when buying used gear.
Sure.
So let's keep it at speakers alone.
Okay, so just speakers. So to me, the biggest thing with speakers is try to, even before you go there, ask them, can I hear them? Sometimes they have them in a storage unit, so you're not going to be able to hear them. And sometimes you have to take a gamble. If it's a really, really good deal, you've got to go there and just look at them. If they look like they've been taken care of, they're in good condition, again, you're taking a gamble. They could just have some blown tweeters, they may have some blown woofers, and if they're older used equipment, a lot of times you can't get the parts for those, and so that does make it difficult. But my experience, I bought a ton of used gear over the past 12 years, 15 years, and the best thing though is if you can just hear them, because your ears will tell you something isn't right. And if something doesn't sound right, go up to each speaker and listen. And you can even cup over the, a speaker and move it. If it changes, then that speaker is at least working and functioning.
You mean like
the tweeter,
the tweeter, mid-range, and the
woofer is going to be hard to do, especially if they're larger woofers.
But for the mid and high,
so you can cover that usually and go, okay, that's working.
I think what you're saying is if you're hearing some sort of distortion
Yeah.
or something you don't normally hear.
Yeah, if it sounds weird, then there's probably something wrong with it. If you crank it up, I've gone to buy subwoofers, and I crank it up, and it's like making a little popping noise and a little crackling noise. I'm like, I don't think that's supposed to be right. It's probably not right. And so just use your ears. But if you'll go and listen to them, I own speakers. My Klipsch La Scalas were made in 1980.
You see that pause right there?
1980.
It's one of those dramatic effects.
Yeah.
Right,
Right, Joe?
Yeah,
Right.
and it
I
worked.
like
Did it work?
Okay.
It worked. But that just goes to show you, they sound phenomenal. I mean, I'm serious. They sound phenomenal. I always thought,
All right.
man, those things
So
are old and
I
nasty.
see Joe's chomping at the bit to jump.
No, I was just saying, like, if they're gonna let you hear it, another good tip would be to get one of those sweep test things,
Yeah.
apps.
Yeah.
So you can run the sweep test from high to low and see if at any point it's making some weird like noise, right?
crackling or something.
That'll be an easy way to go.
If
they let you
noise
hook it up.
tone generator.
Test tone generator.
Tone
There's a
generator is
billion
the
apps
app
out
I
there.
have, and you just pretty much just type in the frequency, and then that's it.
No, the one that's better is the one with the slider.
Sweep.
You
Oh
just
yeah,
slide.
yeah.
Can I give a
How
little?
do I
Can I give a little pro tip here?
Sure.
So this is just something I've learned over many, many years.
Not good.
If you're going to listen to, say, a subwoofer, okay, you don't need to carry a receiver. You don't need to carry a lot of cables.
I
Here's
already know
what
what
here's
you're
what
gonna
you need.
Phone.
Yes,
You need your phone.
you need your phone.
You don't got
Possibly
jack.
a dongle.
You don't have
well,
jack on
I
there.
don't, but I got an adapter.
Oh,
You gotta
Bring your dongle.
Yeah.
Bring your dongle.
Yeah, so if you got an iPhone or whatever, if you don't have the adapter,
Headphone jack?
yeah, bring the headphone adapter.
Yeah.
And just bring a Y cable. So that's going to be a 3.5 millimeter that'll plug into the phone, and then that comes out of a single, and then it splits into two RCA.
Right, the left and right. The
Yeah.
red and white.
Red and
ladies
white. That's all you need.
Red
So
and
you
white.
plug in your phone, you plug it into the subwoofer, play some music from Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, whatever, and you're
what
not
happens.
you're not going to hear
Play your favorite song.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, you're not going to hear any treble because the subwoofer is going to cross over and cut off all of the high frequencies, but you'll be able
Well,
to
I mean, it should, right?
yeah,
it should.
If it plays like, some Marvin Gaye vocals, it's probably not doing what it's supposed to be doing, but you'll be able to just, check that. So again, that's just another simple thing that you can do to make sure that speaker sounds the way it's supposed to sound in a subwoofer setup. You don't have to carry any extra equipment, extra cables, just one little cable, a cell phone. I've done that many times.
You're good to go.
Sometimes you go there and you crank it up, and again, the subwoofer starts cracking or popping and making some funky noise. You go, that's a great sub, but I'm not interested, and you take off.
I actually have an amplifier that runs on batteries.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
It runs on like those 18650 batteries, like 4 of them.
Cool.
An amplifier, and I can just plug in speakers.
Really?
If I go to listen to them. Yeah.
What is this thing?
It's something I made.
Something you made?
Yeah, it's something
I was
I
about
made.
to say, is this Radio Shack? Is this realistic brand?
No, it's-
is this
Oh my gosh.
PartsExpress.com. No, just kidding.
Oh,
we're not gonna do
this
that
video
today.
is sponsored
by
by
Parts Express?
can do that.
No, just
No sponsored.
Not yeah.
So buy used.
Yeah.
Make
So-
sure that the used stuff is good.
Oh,
Well, you could put me on the spot. You got
But you have
prepared
to,
for this, huh?
You have to. What do you mean prepared for
Okay,
this? We
what's
talk
the-
about this shit all the time. Just talk, bro.
What's the question again? Well, no, the mistakes people make.
Mistakes.
All right. I would say buying too expensive
okay.
right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times people don't know anything about placement. If you get some decent but inexpensive speakers, maybe used speakers, and then figure out like how does it affect it if you move it around the room. That's gonna play a bigger role than getting the best speakers you can get and then like throwing them up against the wall or in the corner or
So maybe learn some fundamentals.
learn something. You know how I am. You know how I am. Like there's certain things that you do have to spend a lot on, which I would say speakers. Yeah, I would spend a lot on the speakers. But if it's your first pair, don't go crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't go crazy.
I said, that's kind of what I meant. Like, don't spend too much money, but whatever money you are spending, a lot more money or more of the budget for your speakers as opposed to your electronics.
Especially
that's what I meant.
If you know too, if you know what you're looking for, you know, if you have some speakers in mind, you've heard them before, you've heard them at a friend's house, and you love the way they sound. Yeah, cool, go for it. You know what I mean? But if you have really no idea, you probably don't even know what kind of sound you like. Do you like, you know, do you like soft dome tweeters? Or do you like, you know,
horns?
Huh? You
like horn with tweeters?
You know?
Or you want
You a
something
horn
totally
guy?
different? I don't know, man.
Are you a horn guy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're a horny guy?
Yeah.
He's horny.
No, I didn't say that.
Definitely.
I like horns. Didn't say anything about being horny. Okay, I have 4 children.
So maybe he is.
But I didn't say anything about that.
He's got
Now,
4
come on
children,
Pastor.
3 La Scalas. Like
This is all about the
horns.
all about the horns. I have no.
My horns are huge.
Oh my god!
They're huge.
All right.
All right.
Let's get.
All
Whoa,
right,
whoa.
I'll
Let's
put
keep
the
this
headphones
G-rated,
back on.
No.
guys. Okay. So
I got another
Where do you
one.
go for
Okay.
that one?
Well,
I don't know.
So maybe another mistake is it's almost not opposite what you're saying, but I know a mistake I made early on is I wanted this, but I didn't want to save up for that. So then I sacrificed and got, you know, a lesser model. It was a receiver. So I really wanted this one because it was just cool. It had some extra features, had more power. But I'm like, man, that would take me several other months to maybe save up. You know, again, this is a long, long time ago. But instead of getting what I really wanted, I ended up buying this.
Yeah.
And then what did I end up doing? Ended up having to sell that down the road. I'm like, man, I'm
buy
just
the one that you wanted.
So I had to sell it. I lost money on the deal, and then I ended up buying what I wanted anyway.
Yeah.
And so what I've learned over the years is kind of figure out where you want to go with your setup, whether it's a 2-channel setup, whether it's, you know, a home theater. Kind of think kind of with that end in mind. Where do I want to end up? Now, ultimately, you know, your dream setup may be up here, and you've got to work incrementally, you know, to that as your pay increases and as your funds, you know, or maybe as you pay down your debts, you can afford that. But think through, okay, if I make this sacrifice, it may be $200 cheaper.
Sure.
But in the long run, is it going to meet your needs? Is it going to, you know, a lot of people will say, man, I don't want to spend the extra $200. And then down the road, they go, man, I really would like to, I need some more power because this one's just, it's, you know, it's just too weak to handle. And especially when you start adding speakers, you know, maybe you started out with 5 speakers and you got some money and you got 2 more speakers. So now you got 7, but you bought a 9-channel receiver. So then you buy 2 more speakers. And by then your receiver is so taxed that it's just like barely putting out.
Sure.
And then you're like,
Sure.
man, I need to buy an amplifier. And then guess what? Because you skimped out and bought something cheaper than what you originally wanted or needed, you realize you don't even have pre-outs, and so you can't hook up an amplifier. So things like that. Just kind of think through, where do you want to go? Do your research, try to find the best deal out there. Sometimes you got to wait till, you know, a Black Friday sale or Christmas sale or something like
There's
that.
sales
Depends on
going
your
on all the
budget too,
time.
though.
What's that?
You know, it depends on your budget too,
It
right?
does,
If you start off
but-
with a pretty high budget, then just go for the
Well,
top one,
well,
right?
yeah.
Like,
I
I mean,
think
sure.
of it, right?
you're talking about
If you're a
$200.
baller like Chana.
$200 still.
That can
wait,
be a
I'm
lot
not a
of money.
baller.
If you're
Yeah.
just a baller, you just go
Yeah,
and
if
get
you
the
got
best
money
mics.
just flowing like Joe, you got to worry about that. But
Hey, I've got the $20 mic over there.
but
and
the
you got the-
reality,
well, why
yeah.
am I using the $20 mic?
Because we're your guest on
That's
your
right, there you
podcast.
go.
That's right.
On your
That's
channel.
right. That's right. Because I know what it is to sacrifice, ladies and
He
gentlemen.
does, and he puts a lot of money into
What
this.
if your
for
mic
you
sounds
guys.
the best?
Nah, I've
No,
heard.
no.
I've heard it. in headphones.
I was like, I don't know, because I still haven't heard it. Mike's heard it.
I like
You're
it.
wrong.
I like it. I like it.
Joe always likes to give me crap about buying
Yeah,
expensive
man.
stuff.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
Because I'm the budget guy, right?
Yeah, you're a budget
I'm always
guy, yeah,
trying to
no,
find
totally.
And
where's
that's
that
good.
tipping point
Yeah.
where if you spend more, you're not
Are
going to
you
get that
gonna
much
get
more.
that much more? Yeah. No, because
You know?
I mean, like, I want some focals,
Yeah.
and I want a whole
You got
bunch
2
of other.
Focal headphones. Oh, you're talking about speakers?
I'm talking about speakers. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of even going back to what you were saying about, spending money. To me, I've always found there is a law of what I call diminishing return, and so sometimes you're like, some people just throw money at it and they're like, man, I'm just going to buy these really expensive speakers. They're going to sound amazing. Well, there's a lot of other things that come into that equation to make those speakers sound good, like room acoustics.
Yeah.
Right,
The less
right.
the less money you have, the more careful. You can't make as many mistakes, right?
There you go.
Right.
Sure.
And it's
sure.
more about the setup.
Yeah.
Like, you have to
Yeah.
nail your setup.
Sure.
If you're just on like a small $150 amp and like some, like what you were showing off at the show, the micas and that little amp.
Oh, yeah,
What was that, a $250 setup, right? Oh, you
It
might have
sounded
to
good.
put some money into stands, but you have to get those speakers away from the wall. You got to get it set up right, but you can actually have something very, very good sound for little money.
Yeah,
right?
And that's why I'm excited about that sort of stuff. You know, because of course if you spend more, it's gonna get better.
Right.
Right.
We know this.
Typically, yeah.
We know
And
this.
typically-
and again,
honestly,
you'll hit
it's
that
kind
law
of
of
like
diminishing
the
returns.
more you pay, the better you get,
Yeah.
or the pay to
Typically.
play kind of situation, right?
Pay to play.
Yeah, like
You gotta pay.
you got to pay that high dollar amount to like
Play
not
with the
have
big
to
boy
worry.
toys?
Yeah, play with the big boy toys like La Scalas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or like
Yeah.
the big monolith.
Subwoofer,
215.
yeah, right, like a 300-pound subwoofer like this
track
guy
real
has.
quick. How is that thing? Or you got
Yeah.
the review coming, so it's kind of a secret.
No, it's not a secret.
But like,
no.
just quick face review.
I'll be honest with you, dude. It's pretty rad.
Okay.
I put it this way. I made a video on my channel. I played it for pretty much the very first night. My wife went off for a couple hours or whatever, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm going to crank this thing up, see what she's got. I cranked it up, Joe. No lie. Within like probably 30 seconds, my left surround fell off the
down.
stinking
Oh, yeah, I
wall.
saw that, yeah.
Boom. So there's a lot of pressure
And you were
coming
so
up.
angry, huh?
No, I was good. I was good. I wasn't
Mad
mad.
at
I
you.
wasn't
He was
mad at
mad at
Monoprice.
Monoprice.
Nah, man, it was having
He was
fun.
mad.
Angry.
No, but it plays deep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bass. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking a lot of pressurization. You know, my room's 13 foot by 19 foot with 10 foot ceiling.
Chano sits like 14 feet away. So.
Dude, it is.
But
It's got a lot of power.
I talked to you before.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And Joe always makes fun of me for saying, "Oh yeah, why is that? Because you're sitting 14 feet away."
Yeah, well, like, I hear that line so
I
many
am.
times.
I'm sitting 14 feet away.
Everybody knows how far you sit. Everybody knows.
Anyway, go on.
Quick question
Yeah.
is, I know that we talked before about like car audio before,
Sure.
and you're saying how you didn't have the speakers that you wanted at the time because you couldn't afford them.
In
But-
car auto?
in- back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
But now you got like subwoofers like
Yeah.
piled up.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how that works?
It's weird. Well, but partially, I mean, I'm not buying these subwoofers.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get to kind of not really lease them, but companies a lot of times will send us product, and we typically have a 60-day, 90-day review period.
Yeah.
And so they'll pay to ship it to us. We play with them, do a lot of videos for you guys, and then we ship them back to them. The company pays for that, usually both ways. So that, honestly, that's an advantage. But the other bigger thing, of course, you know, I've been married for 22 years. We paid off pretty much all of our debts. And so that has allowed me, and, you know, of course, my income now is definitely way different than when I was, 22 years old and first married and,
Yeah.
couldn't afford
I think
anything.
mine's lower.
So
Nice.
I was broke. Hey, speaking of goats, I was broke as a goat, man.
Broke
yeah,
as a goat.
I literally
Broke as a
was,
goat.
man. That was from